All right. So, hi everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. My name is Martin Dobias, and I'm a CTO of Lutra Consulting, and I will be talking about point cloud editing in QGIS. I hope everything goes fine with the audio. If not, please let me know in the chat. So let's get started. First of all, if you have any questions about the content, about point clouds or anything related, feel free to use the live chat on YouTube. And at the end, I will try to answer your questions. To start off, I would like to say a big thank you to our partners at Septima and at the Danish Agency of Climate Data, together with whom we have been working on this support on point cloud editing in QGIS. I don't have any slides today, so it will be pure demo. So hopefully everything works fine, and it will just work. Let me start by loading one of the point clouds in QGIS. So these are relatively small point cloud. It also already contains some classification. As you can see, QGIS has picked up the classification renderer already. This is the 2D view, and I can switch also to the 3D view. Let me go to the dock the widget so that we can have both the 2D and 3D side by side. All right. So maybe before we start to do the editing, let me do a bit of like initial setup that I usually do for point clouds in 3D. I pretty much always enable the IDOM lighting, because by default you get just like very basic colors and you don't see that much. With this, you get much more detail about what you are looking at. That's one thing. By the way, not sure if you are aware, it's possible to do similar thing also in 2D view. If you pick the layer styling, global map shading, you can also have the IDOM lighting or hill shading. You just need to make sure for the best results to use the bottom to top, and you can get quite a nice and plus use circles instead of squares, which is the default. But as this increases the rendering time, I will just go back to the default. All right, so editing of point clouds. What we have done is we have added support for editing of cloud optimized point clouds. So you need to have the data in this format in order to be able to edit the point clouds. That's the first thing to keep in mind. But pretty much like every time you load a QGIS, load a point cloud layer into QGIS, you will get the point cloud layer converted to cloud optimized point cloud anyway. That's our short COPC. And if you want to go to editing mode, it's the same approach as with any other QGIS layer. And you'll just use the pencil button here to toggle editing. Or another option is, if you are using 3D map view, the third button from the left, it says show editing toolbar. If you click it, you will get the new editing toolbar below, and there is a toggle editing pencil as well here. So I will start the editing, and now I have a bunch of controls available here for editing. So there's the undo redo buttons that are disabled right now. We haven't done any edits so far. Then we have a selection of tools for editing, and then some options to set which attribute we are going to edit, and the value. So maybe as a warm-up exercise, I know that here in this point cloud, if you look up here, there are some points that are noise. So I would want to reclassify them to some other class. So I can pick the select by polygon tool, and with this tool I will be able to draw a polygon in this 3D view to modify the classification attributes of all the points inside. So if I would, let me first increase the size of the points so they are easier to see. So they are with gray color. Maybe I will increase this even more. If I would, for example, want to, just as a demonstration, change them to the category number 9, which is typically used for water, I can select the points like this by clicking with the left mouse button, and with the right mouse button I confirm the selection, and now you can see that they have changed the color to cyan. But because they are really the noise, I should change them to the high noise. Okay, so that worked. I can show you the undo redo works as usual, as you would expect. So I click once to get it changed to the first edit, and now this is the unmodified. So let's keep the point cloud classified like this. Now when I'm done with my editing, all I need to do is to click toggle editing again. When I do this, it asks me whether I want to save the changes, and when I want, we just do update of the file, and that's it. The COPC file has been updated with our change. Cool. So now let's continue with the editing. I will turn the layer into the editing mode again. And let's have a look. I have noticed earlier here is a building, and next to the building there is something that is like classified as a tree, but it doesn't look like a tree at all. It looks like some kind of lookout tower or some transmission tower. So let's try to change the classification of this and fix it. Not sure what would be the right classification. Probably not a building, because it's not a proper building, I guess. So what I could do is that I can actually pick my own classification value. So here in the list of possible values, this one is pre-populated from the categories that you have here in the classification render. So those are the same categories. If there would be other categories, they would appear here as well. But we are not limited only to these classification values. So if I wanted to use some completely different class, I could do that and pick, let's say, class number 50. And now an interesting thing happens if I would pick that I want to reclassify to 50, reclassify the top of the tower. Now suddenly the points are gone. So they are not gone completely, it's just that we are not having the value 50 captured in our classification renderer. So if I want to see those points again, I can add a new class. I can give it some special look, say something like this, and change the value to 50. And now the top of the tower is there again. So undo redo still works. Cool, but that was easy. If I want to reclassify the whole tower, I can do it like this. But now, sorry, I have used the wrong class, number 50. If I like this, let's say, so I will reclassify not just the tower, but also everything else behind it, right? So that's not really what I wanted. So let's go back. And what I want to do is I want to constrain the area that I'm looking at here. The way how I can do it is in the configuration dialog for 3D view, which I can open here. I can set the extent of the 3D view. So there is the default view to see the whole layer, but I will pick to draw on canvas. And now on 2D canvas, I can pick the area of my interest. So I will choose a rectangle of just this. Click OK. And now you can see we are really looking just at the tower plus the surrounding. So that's good. Now we can zoom in closer and continue with the editing. So I can use the select by polygon, or this is probably also a good time to show the other ways how you can do the selection of points for to change their classification. Let me demonstrate the select by paintbrush. So with this tool, I get really a paintbrush where as soon as I start click and drag, I can paint all the points that I want to change, and that's it. If I'm also able to change the size of the paintbrush. Unfortunately, now on my touchpad it's a bit broken, so if I do that, I get just a very small paintbrush. Oops, and I got a crash. Alright, so that's the life with live demos. One thing to note, stuff that I'm showing here, some of it has been already implemented for QGIS 342, and some parts they are coming to QGIS 344. So if you will try this with QGIS 342, which has been released in February this year, not all the functionality will be there yet. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, so let me try to just repeat this to zoom into the tower. Okay, and enable the iDome lighting. And now, so besides the paintbrush tool, there are two more tools I can use. One is called the select above line. So, and I need to also add the class here, 50 and some bright pink. Okay, so, and if I change to 50, so the tool called select above line, what it does is that you pick just 2 points, and everything above it, above that line, will get modified. So this is especially good if you are doing classification of some high noise or low noise, that you can just quickly draw these and not to do like the full polygon. So, but let me remove this change. The Ctrl Z works for undo as well. And let's focus more on like how to get this edited properly. So I will also increase the point size again, so they are easier to see on this high DPI screen. So I will do select by paintbrush again, change to value 50, reclassify all this. Okay, that looks much better. But now I realize there are still points that are classified as vegetation, but they are probably not vegetation, and probably I want to change those as well. So, but at the same time, it is hard to do the painting without actually picking the ground points. So what I can do is I can use the filtering. So there is this button for it, and by this filtering I can pick which kinds of points are going to be used for the reclassification. So by default we use all the points, right? So if I would do this, it picks any point. But now if I open the filter, I can set that I don't want to pick ground points, so I would do the expression classification is not equal to ground. That's value 2. And now I can quite safely pick a bigger area, let's say like this. And it has picked all the vegetation points, but not the ground points, which I wanted to keep as they were. Yeah, I'm doing this very coarsely. I'm sure like there are things to fix here and there, but generally, like, I have managed to somehow reclassify this tower from vegetation to my class 50. Now, if I'm happy with the changes, I just save them and we are done. Cool. So one other thing I wanted to mention is so far we have only dealt with change of the classification value attribute, but there are more options. You can basically change value of any of the attributes that are in your point cloud. with the exception of the position. So the X, Y, and Z attributes, they are not allowed to be modified. And so, for example, if you want to set, let's say that the point is withheld, you can do that. Here you have just two options, true and false, or with some other classification flags, like whether something is a key point, or if you have some user data, you get a spin box to pick your value. So the classification attribute is special, that for convenience we are also adding the default names of the classes. Right, so that's this. And yeah, so with filtering, right now my filter is still set to like do not take any ground points. If I want to, you can tell that the button is pressed, and the tooltip also shows that the classification is not 2. If I want to disable the filtering, I just either clear this text manually, or just click the clear button, OK, and now it's not active anymore. Right, so this is it for editing. One more thing that we are still working on is to improve the way how you can pick the area of your interest. So right now I went to the 3D configuration dialog and did some drawing here in Canvas, which is fine, but it's maybe quite a lot of clicking. And another issue with that is that I can only pick a rectangle. But very often it is the case that you don't want to work with rectangle that is axis aligned, but you want your own rectangle, let's say, to see the cross section of some building or something like that. So for this we are building an improved tool for cross sections. Okay, and QGIS crashed for me now, so let me try to restart again. And maybe I can show it here. So this is a larger area, and I want to let me also undock this so you can see it better. So I want to see cross section of this building, so I would do take the cross section tool, zoom to the building, pick two points and the width of the cross section, let's say something like this. And now I'm looking just at that part of the scene. Oops. So this should also help you to make the point cloud editing much more efficient. But we assume that this will be useful for other workflows. And you can also see that the rectangle is shown here on the main canvas, and I can then easily disable the cross section and pick a new one, let's say here. Yeah. Cool. So I think that's it for the main additions for the point cloud editing. And we have a few more minutes left, so I also wanted to show the improvements that we have been doing on virtual point clouds. So probably some of you already know about virtual point clouds. It's a way how to easily group many point cloud files into single layer. So if I would open the virtual point cloud for this one, this is a dataset that actually contains 4 individual COPSI files, but they are all shown as a single layer. So that's useful, especially if you are working with large areas. You don't need to deal with like dozens or hundreds or even thousands of layers. And the improvements we've done is that previously you would only ever see the extents when zoom out, and only once you zoom in to the virtual point cloud you would start to get the actual data. But for the context awareness, it's really quite useful that now you can also see just the overview point cloud, which is like a thinned point cloud that contains only few points, but enough to just give you an idea what you are looking at. And then as soon as you zoom in closer, you get to the full density of your point cloud. So that's one improvement. And also you can combine the two, so you can see both the extents and the preview point cloud. And the other nice improvement is the option to show the tile labels. So often, especially if you work with maybe hundreds of point clouds and you want to identify one particular file, this makes it much easier to know what you are working with. You can see the name of the file. And a similar thing has been added for 3D views. So you can you can set up in the 3D view, if you are zoomed out, to show the overview, which is the default now, if the overview is available. If it is not available, you will see just the extents. It should have switched to the extents. No, sorry, I was too close. So this is just showing the extent of the layer, or I can show both extents and an overview. And when I'm zoomed in, it's just the full resolution point cloud. Yeah, so that's it. I believe there will be more improvements to virtual point clouds coming in, hopefully in the next release in QGIS 3.44, together with all the other point cloud editing functionality. And we are going to further improve the virtual point cloud support, especially when it comes to processing. That we are aware of some issues that people are having, and we are trying to fix them so that dealing with virtual point clouds is as smooth as if you are working with a single COPSI file, let's say. All right, so I think that's all. Thanks again to our partners at Septima and the Danish Agency for the Climate Data, who worked on this with us and provided funding. So thank you, and let's have a look if there are any Any questions in the chat? So there are some hellos, and there is a question from Hans if you can add attributes. So the answer is no, you can't add attributes at this point. You can only work with the attributes that have been already defined in the point cloud layer. So you would probably need to use some other tool for that, like Poodle. Then is it from Guru Data is asking, is it possible to do a synchronize of 2D canvas with the 3D view? It is possible to do that. So here's in this icon about camera, there is this 2D map view follows 3D camera. So let me try to set it up. Now it should be enabled. And if I move here, the 2D camera is moving as well. Let me just dock the 3D view. Right, like here. Yeah, so this is with the synchronization of the views. And if I zoom in, it should be also zooming to the in the 2D canvas. It's not always perfectly following the camera in 3D view, and that's because like especially if you are looking like from the side, it's difficult to calculate the extent or turn it into the 2D extent. And the other thing is right now in the 2D view we assume that users are working with the elevation at 0. So this point cloud is in mountains, so it's actually quite high. So when I zoom in, the 2D view is not getting zoomed as much as I'm zooming in the 3D view. But all those things are like stuff that will hopefully get addressed at some point. Cool. Oh, I see that my colleague Saber has been already answering some of these questions. Another one, can we pick just single points to change class attributes, or is it like we use the brush and modify the radius to pick just a point? Yeah, I would suggest to use the paintbrush tool with small radius for that. Another question from Daniel: would it be possible to load a select layer with polygons instead of mutual selections? I guess he's asking about the like the selection with polygon. This would be probably difficult because yeah, you can do the picking of polygons from any side. So I could do even changing of polygon like this, but this would be constrained to 2D polygons. So I think that's not going to work well. Someone else is asking, can I do a polygon from cross section? If that is meant like to do editing with, of the point cloud with a polygon in the cross section, yes, you can do that. Okay, and there is another question. Someone has a few thousand LAS files for a large area, and is it better to merge into one large LAS file? before indexing in COPC, or can I index them all in COPC and then use a VPC? So for this, my general advice would be to keep the keep the original LAS files, let's say like 1 times 1 kilometer, and convert them individually to COPC files, and then build the virtual point cloud based on all these files, because it's possible to also like merge everything into one huge COPC files, and I've seen some, let's say like 50 gigabytes COPC files, but generally, like the bigger the file size, then the more difficult it is then to do any kind of data management. So I would say generally it's a good idea to keep the tiles relatively small. I think the 1 square kilometer works pretty well, and then I join them together into virtual point cloud. All right, so I think that's it. So if you are interested, like download the QGIS 342, which has some functionality there, and then you can wait for QGIS 344 that is coming out in June, that will contain all of this what I've been showing, plus much more. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.